I know, we're off. We're on.
Pleasure
I've
of a
hit the button. I've hit that button. And I've joined today with professional John Hamm lookalike.
He wishes.
Listen, I didn't say that. It was AI that said
God
that. There's a wee
bless it.
hint.
God
for the rest of the thing.
bless AI
Listen,
Yeah,
in its deluded state. Well,
Welcome
but
to
Stewart has said
2026.
but Stewart does say what AI is your ultimate people pleaser. So
For
it
sure.
obviously knows you
Thank
and your
you.
need to be loved.
Yes,
So
well,
just
listen,
say that
AI
you're
is the subject
John
of our
Hamm.
topic today, isn't it? Because Stuart's been raging all Christmas.
Ruined his
because
Christmas.
He got a Christmas card that someone had given to him that is very dear to him, but it was designed by AI, and he's really disappointed, hurt. Aren't you, Stuart? So tell us why. Tell us your beef.
Some of that is true. Let's, I mean, but like we've had it. No, I'll tell you what. Let's do the intro, and then we can get into the whole thing. Because I
Let's
think
do
it
it.
plays that. Okay. Well, welcome to the Good Brand Podcast. Good is a brand consultancy based in the United Kingdom. We do brand, and we build brands, and we make brands, and we make businesses better through the power of brand. And today, I am joined as ever by Ms. Julie Murdoch.
Hello.
Managing Director of Good, and Chris Lumsden, the founder of Good, no less.
Hello, hi.
To remind myself on Sunday
night
night what my job actually was. It was a long time off over Christmas. I don't.
Well, so did we. We had
what
to
do we
remind
do
ourselves
again?
what your job was as well. But anyway, tell us, Stuart, about who sent you a Christmas card that was created by AI. That started the whole beef.
Let's not name names.
Let's go down a little bit further into that, because I think we can talk about that a little bit further. At time of recording, it is the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas, the biggest event of the year, and thousands of products. And if you're in any tech space and you go onto any of these tech websites, you'll look at a place and you'll go onto The Verge, for example, and all it is new product announcements and exciting buzz for products that you are going to see, and a lot of products you'll never see, a lot of kind of, in theory, vaporware of what could happen. And what's kind of quite striking when you just scroll down this page on The Verge is the word AI powered. And everything is AI powered. And you've got AI powered battery chargers, AI powered, computers, AI powered this and that. And you kind of look at it. That's a great
thing, though, isn't it, Stuart? Is that not a really good thing now? AI is everywhere. Makes everything better, doesn't it?
It's kind of, when you get into, in theory, in theory, yes, AI is we talked about that. AI is a very destructive technology that has a lot of use and benefit. The challenge is product marketing, just describing things lazily as AI powered. And you kind of look at it and you go, well, if everything's AI powered, what does it matter? And as a consumer,
leaving the customers to join the dots of what the value is.
Exactly. And I'm kind of going, so there's been a lot of talk, especially at the end of last year with every podcast I listened to, saying, the AI bubble and the concern about the AI bubble, and then NVIDIA coming up, and then it's a bubble that's frothy but understood and everything else like that. I think the bubble's got to be starting with the fact that we've got to stop talking about AI. We've got to shift from what is a technical achievement within a product team, and it is impressive, and the technology does have benefits, to actually sit down and take the time to explain what those benefits are.
But this is what you're describing is something, as we've talked about, this is a film we have seen before, isn't it? And so are you frustrated because no one ever seems to, and how it cuts across and into brand and comms, and people don't seem to know how to integrate these new things into a sort of value proposition?
The weird thing, and it was Julie that mentioned it, that the last time we kind of dealt with this on a big scale, where you're looking around and having the same problem is around the word smart, which is about 2015, 2016, where everything was smart and or connected.
It's not often you hear the word Julie and smart in the same sentence, is it? Sorry, had to.
Just spent a lot of years having the conversation about what did it mean, what does smart mean, what does it, and because we talked. I remember it was a client that we were working with at that point, in the home tech, in the connected home space. And it was the only, at a time where smart, the use of the word smart, the use of connected, the kind of the tech badge, geofencing was the latest thing, at that time, and it's, or late, it was, and the language was very technology based. It was all, because it was all very clever. They were all excited about their technology.
I used to think
we had a lot of time talking about
cloud based as well as something. I was like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
But you can't. But I think the thing with cloud based is at least you kind of as a thing, it's pretty descriptive. Do you know what I mean? It's more descriptive than smart. I mean, it's smart. It's
a good term for rain.
Yeah, indeed. But yeah, I think it does. There's definitely, when you were talking, Stuart, about this topic of AI and the kind of badging of AI powered across everything, like you say, it reeks of lazy marketing, and also not just. I think, we talked about this on other podcasts, and when we had Ryan Schultz, an ex-client from Stratus, 3D printing company, he talked a lot about how much technology companies like to talk about the tech, because they're so proud of it, and it's new and it's exciting and it's might be groundbreaking in some instances. So it's kind of, I don't, whether it's intentional or whether it's lazy or whether it's just
it's a crutch,
a lack of understanding of how to actually articulate that, or just that actually you lose sight of the need to approach it from a customer point of view rather than an internal, we're really proud of this tech point of view.
So let's talk
that's
about
not a new
problem.
But your point is that's not a new problem either. We see that everywhere with all sorts of new technology innovations.
Let's talk about what the challenges are, what we think should people do about it. But I do think there's a difference with AI this time rather than some of those other cloud-based and smart, in that it's pervading into everyone's everyday existence. It's going to be a much bigger disruptor, I think, this one than some of the others, and that will create other. And we can come on to the stuff about backlashes and stuff like that and what that might mean. But what do you think, though, Stuart? Then these businesses that slap AI powered on our product and think they've done their job, what should they be doing? Can you break that down?
I think it's. It was the same with smart. I mean, the problem and the solution are the same. And what makes it more annoying with AI is actually there's real benefits. You can tangibly suggest the benefit. Probably they're less nebulous. The benefits and the value that are driven are less nebulous than smart.
Yeah.
And actually that makes it worse, because you kind of go into it, and we were just running through some examples there. You go, well, actually, here's where the value is. And AI comes second to it is AI powered, but it's second to the value it creates. And so I hope there's a lot of product marketeers at the moment on the verge going, did we get any coverage? And then having a little lump in their throat or their stomach falling away going, we've totally messed this. This is fucked, man, because we just now sound like everybody else. And I hope that happens. And that's why I think that bubble's going to burst, because it's just on a wall of stuff. So I think what's going to happen and what you should be doing is back to basics. I mean, none of this is particularly complicated. It's going back and going, the first step would even be better to just listing features and benefits, which would be somewhat better, because at least you can get a handle on what this AI-powered nonsense is. And actually, that's not fair, because it's not nonsense. It can be quite fundamental. Yeah. It's just the phrase is nonsense. And then the next kind of thing after that is then go, but what, how does that make money, save money, protect reputations? What's the actual value in that? So the problem and the solution is the same as it ever was. It's trying to get past the shorthand, which now becomes meaningless.
Yes. But I think we've just been through, and sure, you've just run an exercise with a client who are in the traffic control space, and I've a lot of proprietary technology, and a lot of what they're doing in terms of the software is AI powered, and the positioning, the product positioning exercise that we've just been through with them around, to allow us to kind of unpack the value of ultimately what that deliver, and they've been, I think, quite sensitive and aware of the fact that just saying AI isn't going to do the job for them. And ultimately, and this is oversimplification, but ultimately when you look at it, it boils down to making things, the ability to make things safer and make things more efficient, and how, those messages are relevant to different audiences depending on who you're talking to. But
And you
the
can
kind of
define
they talk
you
about,
can define
and
the
you define the
value
value based
Yeah.
around that. Now, there's lots of smart stuff and really clever things and detail around features that you can obviously delve into, and we will build out for a variety of pieces of comms. But ultimately, the benefit of that technology, the benefit of AI, is the ability to make to save lives and save money. And it's kind of so. Yeah, that it's stripping the AI badge away and articulating it enough.
So what we're saying is, value. From a brand and comms point of view, it's another it's the next cab off the rank in terms of new innovation, but it's the same it's the same challenge we have, and it's the same solution. But what about this sort of trust gap that seems to be growing out there in the public consciousness, and this sense of will users or people begin to trust brands more or less when they hear AI powered? And because there is a negative narrative out there, quite a strong one, and worries about what that might mean. And are we going to get a sort of cultural backlash that says that people are going to want things that say human made or human checked or human verified over this kind of vision of artificial intelligence? I mean, what does that? Yeah, what's your view on that?
I think things that are consumer CES this week, you'd expect things to be technology. I mean, it's the same thing. I mean, this isn't a new problem. This went back to the 70s when microprocessors were in everything. You had microwaves with microprocessors in them. And it was like going, well, what does that mean? It meant nothing. It meant that you had a timer that was digital rather than a wee wheelie thing. You know what I mean? So it was more precise. So again, the challenge of badging things with the technology to make it sound best in class has ever been thus. I think where we are just now in the CES world is you'd expect a lot of things to be AI powered. That works in it. So that's the game. Yeah, that's the game you're in. I think when it gets into other things, for example, AI curated wedding lists, that's when you get into a bit of a go, really? Because again, you take away.
You don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that's the kind of thing. A lot of the kind of AI stuff that was happening before Christmas was about AI, powered gift guides where you could sit down and go, like, I've got a 13-year-old or I've got this child, and you can get some inspiration.
Is this where the Christmas card came, Stuart? Is this where
no, that's not where the Christmas card. No, it's not with the Christmas card.
Somebody used AI for a Christmas card.
Yeah, we'll go into that. And I think that's the kind of thing where I think things which you expect a person to do.
Yeah.
But again, you can be AI powered. I mean, I did it. My son has got a new job. I was a bit lost. He's 25. I don't want to get my gift voucher. And I went, well, who will I talk to? And everybody I talked to shrugged. And the one thing, AI is a people pleaser, so it didn't shrug and gave me a couple of ideas. But ultimately, it wasn't just curated. There was a human involved in that process. You won't like that, offered. I mean, I said,
human checked, human verified.
It was like he said, you would like slippers. I went, no, he fucking wouldn't like slippers. And again, that's your challenge with taste. AI has no taste. It comes up with it and you.
But then if you're putting the human filter on it over that, then it's it's the same we talk about from a work scenario. It kind of removes the blank piece of paper. Do you know what I mean? It gives you, but it doesn't. It's not then a fait accompli. It's not. It still needs that.
So are you saying that not all sectors are kind of created equal when it comes to AI?
Some
can surf the wave more than others.
No, well, I mean, yesterday, AI ChatGPT launched GPT Health, and they made a big play of the fact that they've consulted doctors on this. Now that's them kind of going, no, listen, this has got a lot of human hands on it. This is where it's kind of saying that it's got it's not AI powered. That is AI.
Well, our politicians are saying that AI is going to play a big role in helping remove waiting lists and all that kind of stuff. So there is obviously a benefit going to come from that.
And but ultimately, but again, to the point of actually hoping to see a human quicker.
Yeah, probably.
which is the interesting thing about it. So I mean, if you can get to see a human quicker, then does it matter how you're getting there? As long as you're not being prescribed by the AI. Somebody asked AI, how do I remove salt from my diet, and suggested a method from the 1800s, which basically put him in hospital.
Twat.
That's a problem. putting glue on pizzas was one of the others. So there's lots of kind of so it needs. So A, we don't necessarily trust it, and B, it's going to be humans have looked over this.
But I suppose the judgment still needs to be made that for it doesn't necessarily work in all brands. You don't have to have it, right? And
that's what I was thinking.
That's judgment is important.
I think
and taste, I suppose, yeah.
Well, yeah, I think if you got, and to your point about are all sectors created equal in terms of the use of AI, I mean, I think how Mulberry are using AI to influence the design process of their new range of bags. Who knows? If it's behind the scenes, does anyone care? But they're not going to be shouting about that, presumably. I'm making this up, obviously. There's an expectation. I would assume there's an expectation within the world of consumer electronics or technology that AI is going to, drive efficiency or create improvements. But there's that kind of handcrafted stuff, and where you expect that.
And the creative industry is where it's kind of really pushing is in video games and in filmmaking.
Yeah.
In video games, which I just don't quite get my head right. And well, I do get it. But what they're trying, anything this has been generated by AI stuff is absolutely blackballed in the industry. Even the game that I'm madly in love with just now, Arc Raiders, is using AI voices to kind of do that. And there's a lot of backlash on using AI voice. Now, is that because the quality, now, in gaming, the voice acting can be either very good or very bad. You're never really there. And in this particular game, you're not really using it as a core part of the experience. So does it matter? But then what it becomes is protecting people's jobs. That's what it comes down to. That's where the nervousness is.
And I think it's interesting because I would say the other one I think that, you hear or I've heard conversation around is around, like you say, in the creative space is music. So, people use songwriters, musicians have used GarageBand or similar technology to create, quick backing tracks with multiple instruments for a long time. That's not new. That's not new tech. But then when you get into the realms of using AI to draft song lyrics for you or come up with it, is that too? And it's where the lines or creating or literally create a song. And it's like because it's not an issue of quality. If you could, again, layman Joe Blogs in the street. It's
it's a question of authenticity.
You wouldn't hear that. It is a question, and so then that comes back to the point I think around, is it a moral question? Is it just because it's new and there's actually over time some of that will shift in what is currently not deemed as acceptable because you're losing a craft will be, and the craft comes out. It's like it kind of feels like we're in that sort of muddy middle at the moment.
Well, we talked about that yesterday. We were talking about some trend stuff in the agency, and Stewart was, this growing trend of more analog experiences, things coming back. We talked about even stuff like magazines and books and audio and vinyl. I
couldn't believe the youngsters
discs.
were taking film
cameras
on holiday.
I mean, someone had been away on a trip and had taken a 35mm camera with film. And
she's very pretty though. She doesn't take a bad picture, does she? I need my iPhone
the point
for 18
being
attempts.
But these are some of the young folk, and that's happening, and they're actively embracing that stuff that we all gave
just
up.
because it's meant to be
cool.
But
there is something in there, right? There is something about the unconnectedness of it all and the authenticity of it.
Yeah, and the pendulum swings. It's going to swing the other way, and then we'll reach some kind of middle. So Julie's point about, I don't even think we're in the messy middle. We're in the frothy start, because you can do all this. You can do all sorts of stuff, and I think also the authenticity is that we can't just trust our eyes. We just don't know if we're looking at something real or not, because, I was looking at a picture the other day and I just couldn't decide, that looks a little made up. And it might have been.
Was it your Christmas card?
No, I was very clear about what that was. So what happened was, right? Right.
Tell us, Stuart. Tell us what happened about the Christmas card.
I better tell it before Christmas. It's basically, we have a thing at Christmas where, as much as we do our Yankee swap and everything else like that, we pick a name out of a hat and we do a picture of somebody else. In the agency, we draw a picture agency. And what was interesting about it was that my picture was done by AI. And it was basically, you could tell, a couple of prompts. And it was weird because it met the brief, it was fine. But and again, it was fine. But I'm not crying into my it was interesting, my reaction to it, which was funny and it was good and it was there, and it was, and the person who was doing it's been very busy, and I understand that
you just put it in the bin though, didn't you? You wasn't a keeper.
I know exactly what it is. I know exactly what it is.
I don't know where mine is.
No, and you know, there was some thought in the prompt. You know, if that may,
But it's interesting that
Did you
was
say
your
that's where the value lives? The value.
the voice of the prompt. You know, so this person
and we all got hand drawn ones,
and you got hand drawn ones.
Mm.
And so what was kind of interesting is you go, well, in theory, this meets the brief, but it doesn't hit me in an emotional way that actually somebody's done that you could see other people being
does that mean
delighted
that we're
or
all getting,
horrified.
Does that mean that consumers are becoming more and more adept at spotting shortcuts and AI fakes?
I
don't know. I don't know if we can trust anything. The difference is on a group of 16 people, mine stood out because it wasn't of that nature of the kind of handmade stuff. And so suddenly, I mean, again, it's fine. I've not lost any sleep over it.
He has a wee bit.
I understand what's happened. But the kind of thing, it was interesting, my reaction to it, which initially was looking, and especially because this person is exceptionally talented, they're also exceptionally busy. And there was obviously some thought in it but I was kind of going, oh, okay, this is weird. This is
so that's a metaphor
because I think but I think that because there's an expectation there that there's a personal aspect to that gift essentially, and when it's kind of outsourced to something that's generated by a computer, it doesn't feel the same. It's a bit like buying off it is a bit like buying. I mean, I love buying off a gift list because it removes the thought process, but it is a bit like buying off a gift list versus thinking what would that person like and sourcing something. Do you know what I mean?
I do think the funnies are not as funny now. You know, the gifts and stuff that you get, which are clearly AI things, beautifully, perfectly shot things of Donald Trump wearing a different, you know, whatever it, you know, and it's like that's it's just not funny. Whereas the more hand bashed,
some of it's funny.
Some of this, but it's not as funny as I think as the old stuff used to be. And maybe that's just me, but I do think you're hitting something, Stuart. That you know, with the risk of repeating myself, I think consumers have an ability to detect.
Well, the bullshit.
I think the thing is,
what's authentic and what's not.
What's not. But I think there's also still a question of where does it matter? Because I know that when you think about like. AI generated images in a sales brochure that's just shown a generic interior of a nice house. Does it matter if that's AI generated? Probably not. But what it matters if there's a AI voice generating a fake customer testimonial. Do you know what I mean? So it's I think there's a lot of bits where it's like, well, you know, it's and because it's
so and it's up to businesses like us to try and figure out that line. Isn't it about what?
And it might be different for every business and every brand, depending on their own, you know.
Yeah, and one of the
foundations,
things you were saying,
vision, mission, values, all that stuff.
Yeah, Stuart, you were saying it's about showing some messiness and some authenticity in your workings and stuff like that to help drive home that sense of authenticity.
Yeah, because I think the challenge is everything. We're on high alert all the time. We're looking we're judging everything as being authentic all the time, from text messages that come in. I get 2 a day from my kids telling me they've got new phones. 2 a day.
They are so careless.
They are crazy. And I kind of go, who's paid for that? I better put this with them, you know. So I get 2 of this. So every text that comes in is you're going to DEFCON 2. You kind of go, right, what's happening here? The same now is with the images that you look around, because they are so perfect, and you know it's not. And I love the aesthetic of early AI images with an elbow coming out of a banana and stuff like that. I love all that.
8 fingers.
I loved all that. I was there for that all day. I could watch a tomato being cut 40 times. I don't understand what's going on, but I love it. It's beautiful.
But now, well,
that's good. We're hip.
It's just watching someone cutting a tomato.
So the interesting thing is how do you what is authentic, and it's actually kind of admitting your mistakes. It's actually going, we tried this, it didn't work, because that's our story. The story of any progress. Is there where AI takes all that out. AI tells you that you're great all the time and shows you in your best light. It makes you look good. It makes your skin look good, which I could do.
Makes you look like John Hamm.
Makes you look like John Hamm. John with an H.
I know. So it's that. He maybe is that John Hamm. Looks like a bit. Maybe it was just getting confused with bit of ham. Give me a little bit.
Come on. So
probably.
So come on. So I think for businesses, it's kind of going, look, open this up, be a little bit more honest, because ultimately your end result is made up of your mistakes. It's not, and that's what AI doesn't want to. even when AI makes a mistake when I'm working with it, I work with it a lot. I really like working with it. But if you say, you kind of go, that's not right, it will go, that's absolutely correct. I'm
I
absolutely
know, I
right.
hate
That's a
that
good
about it
catch.
too.
Well done.
I know.
well
That's a
done.
good catch. Well done. Well, it's not. It's not a good catch. It's fucking basic, you tube. But you're an AI and not a person. And yeah, so I think it's about showing we made a mistake for the betterment of the product.
And
There's
how,
nothing
so
dirty
it's
in
how
that.
you do that and
And
how.
when you're using AI as a label, or don't use AI as a
Mhm.
label, use it as or don't lose sight of the need to define the value
Yeah.
that it's delivering rather than
Yeah.
just
So
using it as
it'll
a badge.
be interesting to see how the tension builds and the backlash builds and all, and what that means. It's going to be interesting to see. But yeah, it's important for us in the work that we do, right? That's kind of how we frame it for our clients. So it's been interesting. I do think it's an interesting debate, and one that we will
And we'll
circle
continue
back
to
to.
rumble on, I'm sure.
I mean, I've taken a few screen grabs come out weirdo off of the homepage of the Verge to compare it year on year. I think that's quite an interesting thing, just to kind of go what's next year
There's
going
your
to be.
trends.
Yeah, because I do think some of the robotic stuff is mental, so it's going to be that'll be interesting to see where the
It's
the
robots
phrases
now, isn't it? It's going to be
all
robots.
We're all robot daft. They're coming for us.
I'd like a robot in the house.
I've got my robot. I'd got a robot vacuum cleaner for my
I've got a robot vacuum
for my
cleaner.
wedding present. It's
Yeah,
still
but
going.
one of those companies
iRobot.
went bust, didn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, 'cause-
iRobot was there. Is iRobot?
Yeah,
Was that
that's a film.
bust? Are
Mhm.
they?
Mhm.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Tell you, they made good robots because it's still going 15 years later.
Well, there you
Yeah,
are.
it's a good. I got it.
We'll not be
Right.
getting any spare parts if it breaks now, though. Obviously.
No, you hit me up. I did a book 2 months research on it. I got a cracker. Everybody's happy.
Christmas cracker.
Yeah.
Right.
Does it
Very
wash the
good.
floors as well?
Yes, it
Oh,
does.
see, mine doesn't.
Yeah,
Mine
Does it?
that's the
First
future.
gen.
Yeah.
First
Right.
gen.
Listen, let's bring this to a
Right.
close.
Right.
Nice to see you all.
All right.
Just
Thanks.
you're
all.
upset
Bye-bye.
because you're not.
Bye.
Bye.